You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include apocalypse, climate disaster, fantasy violence, death, crashes, heights and falling, vast descriptions of space, and references to classism. Arc 4, Episode 2 of Fire or Dust. From Waiting for the Moon to Burn by Connie Chang. Even before Samishi Kibo became Samishi Erebor, she enjoyed painting. She painted often and quite well. Her talent became apparent when she was only 4 years old, dragging her father's brush over gold leaf paper he'd earned on commission from Galactic Lord Hanako Zuma herself. She didn't understand the consequences of her actions. How could she? She was 4. All Samishi knew was that the paper was pretty, the ink smelled bitter, but not in a bad way, and she wanted to paint. So she painted. Without shame, without restriction, Samishi painted her favorite subject at the time. Her pet koi fish, Mugi-chan. Out there, somewhere, that painting of Mugi-chan still hangs in the home of the only person Samishi ever truly loved. Her nanny. Nowadays, when she has the time, Samishi Erebor still paints. She sits in the garden, just like she does today, under the shade of a palmate maple tree. Its long and thin leaves bob in the generated breeze, their color a deep and rich red all year round. At the center of the garden is a calm and still pond with real, actual water, lined by mossy boulders and ornamental grasses. Samishi sits in front of a heavy desk that required 4 muscular workers to transport from her office to the garden. The paper she is painting on is spread out in front of her. She holds her brush with an elegant touch, dragging it across the parchment in precise and refined strokes. Every now and then, she dips her brush into an inkwell, then continues. She is painting her favorite subject at the moment, the garden itself, with its blooming rhododendrons and stalks of noble bamboo. Across the pond, a dragonfly the size of a house cat perches on the branch of a cherry tree. Its petals are a deep, rich amber, a memory of the colorful autumn that once graced this planet. As Samishi paints, a low rumble shakes the garden. She pauses, a stray teardrop of ink blotting onto the paper, blacking out the slender head of the dragonfly she'd been so diligently working on. Samishi's lips purse, her brow furrows. She lowers the brush and flicks her other wrist, unblurring the privacy filter on the ballistic glass-clad polycarbonate walls of her hydroponic enclosure, and looks out, through the ferns, at Kesseki. The dust rages, 5 years strong, howling and beating its fists against the greenhouse glass. But that's not why the brush falls from Samishi's fingers and clatters onto the ground. That's not why Samishi slowly and dazedly rises from her cushioned seat. That's not why Samishi approaches the transparent wall and rests a shaking hand against the tempered glass. Her eyes, wide and black and crimson, are fixed on one thing and one thing only. The darkness. A circle of it, barely perceivable beyond the swirling sand of the apocalypse. But it's there, hanging in the sky, which still contains light, the only indication that it isn't evening these days. It looms as a shadow beyond the dust, a dour sphere of nothingness, a seed of annihilation, a singularity beyond recognition, a black hole. To this day, Samishi Erebor has no idea that she was the first person in the Apis Ryumi system to notice Oblivion's arrival. How could she? She's only mortal. And as she stands there, inside this memory, garden, dream, the ink blot on her painting spreads and spreads and spreads. Strike Team Nova. 250,000 miles away, which is to say, not very far at all. The dying husk of Kesseki hangs in the middle of space, and behind it, who knows how many million miles away, which is to say, not very far at all, the singularity looms. You can feel it right now in the temporary and questionable safety of the Kestrel, a gravitational pull so immense that the engines of your ship must roar and roar and roar to counteract it, even at this distance. What primal mortal reaction grips you? Let's start with Lumièra.
I know it was gonna be me. So I think as the ship is like trying to halt itself and slow itself down, I think Lumièra does. You know how like when you're in a car that's going really fast, or like you're on an airplane and it's like taking descent, how you kind of brace yourself in your seat as like to kind of counteract the G-forces that you're feeling? I think that's what Lumièra is doing. She's gripping the side of the chair and like a console that's in between, like trying to keep herself from, even with her seatbelt on, keep herself from getting flung forward in in the ship's descent.
What about you, Seir?
Seir is currently gripped with the primal fear of someone else's feelings thudding against his own body and ribcage. Seir is and was afraid of Oblivion, the same way a child is afraid of the boogeyman in the middle of the night, these stories made real. But the fear that's thudding against his chest is someone else's, Doom Incarnate, who he cannot hear, who he cannot speak to yet. And Seir just says behind gritted teeth, holding on to one side of the armrest of his chair and to like brace Yinghe with a strong arm over Yinghe as we lurch forward. And he just goes, hey, what the fuck is that? Hey, cool it, why the fuck are you afraid?
And we pan over to Xainan.
Xainan falls out of that slipstream in 3 parts. The first is an agent staring down oblivion. And fear, the same fear that took him in the presence of magic, the same fear that took him in the presence of fate, the same small thread of fear he even has for the patron saints. The second, a ghost, called home like a siren, practically bursting out of his body to go home. And the third, the quiet thing that never died in Xainan Esch, reignited, blazing bright. A farm boy, full of hope that his love is alive, and all 3 exist inside of one man as he comes crashing forward, his heart about to burst. in pain and in love and in grief. But he is home, and he is all of these things.
There is a moment of terrified, gripped silence inside the Kestrel as Nova takes in the black hole. And Seir, beneath your hand, you can feel Yinghe's chest rising and falling, trembling slightly, their eyes wide. They've heard of the precepts before from you all, but to see it like this, after magic, their lips tremble and they just whisper, the words tumbling out of them. So, that's what that one looks like. And a noise blares through the speakers of the Kestrel, a high-pitched, repetitive alarm. It is accompanied by a holographic pop-up on the main console that overrides everything else. A large, glowing yellow sign written in Apis Fuyumi standard, and the oracle floating in the middle of your seats blinks and the script scrambles itself back into Syndicate standard. And all of you see the following. Danger. Event horizon imminent. Turn around immediately. Death is inescapable. The text flashes and the warning transitions to a new message. Danger. You are approaching planet 3321, a known hazardous zone. Upper atmosphere contains catastrophic geomagnetic storms. Antimatter drives or superior are required for planetary escape. Do not approach, do not attempt a landing. You will not be rescued. The text flashes and the two warnings start to cycle between each other. The first one and the second one, and the first one and the second one. And at the bottom of both warnings, there is a seal of authority. 5 interlocking circles surrounding a glowing starburst. Xainan, you recognize this logo immediately. It is the sigil of the Galactic Council, the 5 lords of the Apis Fuyumi system who govern the entire galaxy. This message was posted by the authority of the Council itself.
Drain it for parts and then lock it up. Do we have those drives?
Yes. The fusion reactor drives are still active. They're working kind of overtime. The reactor core is getting a little taxed right now, but they're doing their best to counteract the, influence of the object.
Alright. The authorities are locking this off, and he points to the symbol. Those people, they run the planet we were on, they run the air between. They're afraid of this place.
I mean...
So, we'll be well and truly alone if and when we land. No one's coming for us.
He sees the look on Dom's face. The people who go there may as well be with the stars. If we're lucky, the people we're looking for are down there. And we, Nova, a shadow mage, the omen speaker, and a chronologist, and the oracle. If anyone can get off of this thing, it's us, right? Right? And there is trust. There is all the vulnerability you have been looking for in Xainan Esch in one ask. Can you do this?
Yeah.
Seir looks at you, nods, but his mind wanders to the warning of the antimatter engines required for escape, which is not what the Oracle named as part of our setup. And Seir looks at you through doom and through oblivion, and against his better judgment of questioning you and your plan in this moment, stands by your side. I got you. Oracle, I hope you got a handle on this.
Yes, I've got all systems under control. So far, nothing's in red. But like I said, the reactor core is really being taxed right now. So whatever you're gonna do, make it quick.
We can do whatever we set our minds to. And
We're behind you,
Nova-
Zai.
Nova, I think this is the first time in all of the time that you've known Lumièra. The brave girl does not sound so brave right now.
He has to take them at their word. They said they can do it, and he believes that they can. And he looks to Lumièra, he can hear that uncertainty. You staved off death itself, and you unmade somebody. I know this is a lot, but I believe in you.
Okay. Okay.
If the rest of you are in, then I'm in. We can do this. It's like you said, Lumièra. We can do this. Strike Team Nova. It's time to land this ship, or die trying. But first, allow me to introduce our system for Arc 4. We are playing Force of Extinction by 12-Sided Studios, a survival game where players must navigate a post-apocalyptic landscape full of danger, scarcity, and mutation. In the base game, you have 3 skills: wit, grit, and survival. For the purposes of this show, we've added a 4th skill: charm. Each skill has a threshold between 8 and 12. The higher your threshold, the better you are at the skill. This core resolution system revolves around skill checks. To make a skill check, you roll a pool of d20s and look for successes. A success is a number that is equal to or less than the threshold of the skill you are testing. This is a roll under system. So let's say you want to deceive someone. I might ask you to make a charm check. Let's say you have a 10 in charm, so if you roll a 10 or below on any of your d20s, that counts as 1 success. You always start with 1 d20 in your pool. You can add another d20 for each of the following. If you have a situational advantage, if someone else is helping you, or if you are harnessing a relevant tool or power. You can roll a maximum of 4 d20s on a skill check, but no more. Additionally, you can harness the resources of a bastion to juice your rolls. For our show, I've also added factions and vehicles to the list of entities that have resources. There are 3 types of resources: provisions, which measures food, tools, medicine, and equipment; energy, which measures electricity, generators, and other forms of raw power; and protection, which measures weapons, shields, and ammunition. Each resource is rated out of 20, with 1 being the worst and 20 being the best. If all of your resources hit 0, then that bastion, faction, or vehicle is done for. The resource ratings of the Apani Kestrel are as follows: a 15 in provisions, due to the precious cargo it is carrying; a 12 in energy, due to the workhorse fusion reactor core that powers it; and a 12 in protection, which describes its serviceable artillery and shields. You can spend a resource of any type to add a d20 to your pool, but you must describe how you are using that resource in the process. You can also spend 3 resources of a single type to achieve a guaranteed success. No rolls required. Force of Extinction has a few more rules, but that's all we need to know for now to get started. So, Strike Team Nova. As the Apani Kestrel soars closer and closer to Kesseki, its engines getting louder and louder as it works to counteract the pull of the black hole. Who jumps into action first to initiate the landing sequence?
gotta be Xainan. He is leading the charge. He is making sure that Nova is with him. And the moment he even finishes thinking through what Yinghe says, he is on his feet. That tether home. Where do you need me? And he goes to find something useful. He can do many things, but flying is definitely not one of them.
Do you address this to Yinghe, or do you address this to Nova as a whole?
I think he's addressing largely the Oracle, or to Yinghe.
Oh, okay. Okay. The Oracle is kind of like, this is the most focused any of you have seen the Oracle. Usually it's bobbing around, it seems really distracted, and is like making jokes or whatever, but this spherical droid is just floating in midair, unmoving, as the Kestrel floats a bit closer and closer to Kesseki. And the Oracle says, sorry, it's taking a lot of focus to keep us on track. I think I need someone to make sure that the reactor core doesn't melt down. It needs more coolant. Whatever built-in ship
On it.
heat sinks. There's an engine room. And the Oracle uses their eye, swivels around, and projects a map of the Kestrel, like schematics. And one of the rooms lights up, directing you toward the engine room. It's right next to the cargo hold.
By the time the light is even on, Xainan is running out the door. He has cased this entire ship. It has been days. And he is running towards that engine room. And he's thinking through every resource that he has seen on this ship, every bolt and every sign that he has read, trying to think of which one is the heat sink and how do I operate it. So he is running for it.
Perfect. Xainan, you book it out of the bridge and you're heading toward the engine room with the objective of cooling down the core. We now pan focus over to Lumièra and Seir.
I think Seir hears the Oracle, this entity, this droid that vexes him, torments him, and irritates him. But the Oracle is trying. And this is a strange layer of connection that Seir finds to the Oracle, seeing it, if I'm understanding correctly, kind of struggle with handling the loadout of everything. And as Seir hears that, he begins to do as his training has prepared him to do so. Prepare for the fucking worst. That whatever navigation, whatever thing comes from that event horizon, that we will be prepared for it. So he begins by looping towards our provisions to get additional safety netting, something to help us if turbulence goes up, if the Oracle is desynced, anything that can help stabilize not only ourselves, the three of us who are here on the bridge, but also the Oracle. And that is what Seir is preparing for. I don't know if this counts as like if it makes more sense for it to be a help action to be there for when things might go tits up, or if it's better for me to do something.
I see. I think, based on what you're describing, what you're really doing is just gathering necessary provisions and making sure they're on hand in the bridge. So I'm not going to subtract anything from your provisions yet because you're not using them, but you're essentially like readying your next course of action so you can jump into action immediately. So Lumièra, you notice Seir kind of dart out of the bridge as well to like collect items and make sure that there's enough equipment if and when shit hits the fan. Speaking of which, we pan over to you, Lumièra.
I think in that moment when Lumièra sees like Xainan and Seir both dart off, Lumièra kind of is left to try to figure something to do. But that black hole, it's like no matter where in the bridge she looks, it's like it follows her. It never leaves directly out of her periphery. And it unsettles her something so deep. It's almost like a hot rock that sinks and burns through each level, and it's It started in her throat and it's dropping down through her stomach. And she scrambles. She doesn't necessarily know what to do, so instead she goes over to the oracle, near frantic, looking for anything practically to help right the systems or put up any type of deploys, anything, any extra wings or anything that would help slow the speed of the progression of this ship making its entering into the atmosphere. Anything she could help.
Yes, Lumièra, as you rush over to the central console and you're pulling up system readouts, you can see that the Oracle currently has energy diverted in a very specific manner. Like 80% of the energy of the reactor core is dedicated to both thrusters. So you can see that the Kestrel has two, like, similar, like, kind of like jet engines under each wing. That is kind of its propulsion. 80% of the power is going to that. The other 20% is going to, like, life support for all of you. So oxygen and artificial gravity, all this stuff to make sure that the four of you don't die. And the Oracle seems like completely focused on also calculating the exact trajectory to Kesseki that like balances how much thrust they need. So they're constantly making like micro adjustments to the amount of power that each engine needs to make sure that you're on a straight course to the planet. As you notice all of these readouts, you see something in the sensor system start to like beep and flash. Do you enlarge it to take a closer look?
Absolutely.
You tap on it, boom, and you see the basically scanning system, the remote scanning system of the Kestrel is noting, you see a pop-up that reads, foreign objects incoming. And kind of like on a ship's radar with a bing, 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 as it's able to like scan things forward. You notice like little, like one dot populate in front of the Kestrel, and then another, another, like dozens of dots begin to appear, and the Oracle goes,
There's something in front of us.
Okay. Lumièra has to sit and steel herself for a second. She sees all of these incoming alerts. She doesn't necessarily know what to do, but then she remembers. She's been reading. She's been practicing. So we're gonna bypass these alerts. These, whatever it is that's coming into the atmosphere, we're just gonna move them 20 seconds down that way, past us.
Okay, you've been reading and rereading and rereading your chronology book. You know the extent of your power right now and the places where you can push your limitations further. To be able to vault something backward in time, or trap it in a liminal and like reverse its trajectory, you need to be a certain distance away from it. So you can certainly attempt this, but you're gonna have to let the Kestrel get a bit closer until you have visual confirmation physically through the shutters. Like you have to be able to physically see what you're controlling.
Okay. Lumièra trusts herself, she trusts her brain. She trusts her timing. There is no room for error. So she focuses, pinpoint, and almost under her breath, you hear her counting down from 60 as it gets closer and closer and closer. And right when that first one gets just close enough, shoo.
Perfect. Okay, so Yinka notices you peering through the shutters, and they wordlessly help you by like sliding like a dimmer on the console board, and the shutters lift completely, so you have full view of what's in front of you. And as you get a bit closer, you see like little specks in the distance that very rapidly start to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you realize what these objects are. It's a debris field. At first you think maybe a stray asteroid belt or a meteor storm or something, but no. You see large pieces of metal, torn apart wiring, a piece of a ship sawed in half and sparking. This is a blown apart cargo freighter. You don't know what blew it apart. You don't know how it catastrophically melted down. You think you can see bodies floating here and there. You're not entirely sure, but one of the hull pieces that starts to like hurtle like toward you as you're intercepting it at a perpendicular, you see a symbol, a logo, like painted on the side. It doesn't look like the twin-headed sea serpent of the Kestrel. It looks like a large R and a Y in a script superimposed over each other. And your mind flashes to that corporate woman person who had mentioned something Raja Yowang, R-Y. Boom. This cargo freighter. So many debris. You also see random chunks of what look to be raw ore blasted out of broken crates and like random pallets starting. And they're moving very quickly and you're like on a collision course. You see this and you activate your chronology. So this is going to be our first roll of the arc. This is absolutely going to be a wit roll. And I'm going to say that the difficulty level here, you're going to need 4 successes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
You're going to need 4 successes. So, situational advantage. I don't know if you have a situational advantage in this situation. No. Assistance from another character? I think Yinghe is here and actively assisting you. They're next to you and they are helping you by pointing out where each piece of the debris is, feeding you information, helping you, like being there to emotionally ground you, which is what so much of your magic is around, how stable you feel. Harnessing a relevant tool or power, yeah, you're using your chronology. Absolutely. So at a base, that is 3d20 in the pool. Even if you roll successes on all 3, that would not be enough to succeed this challenge. Would you like to burn a resource to add another d20 to the pool?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna burn a resource for sure.
What resource would you like to burn? Provisions, energy, or protection, and how are you burning it?
I'm gonna burn protection.
Sure. Maybe what can happen is the Oracle can notice this and offer to use the artillery arrays to shoot debris out of like your way to help you in your task. Okay. So I'm going to say that's where we've taken protection down from 12 to 11. Would you like to burn another protection to add another d20 to your pool?
Yes. I would love to do that. That would be great, actually.
Great. So you get an extra 2d20. I believe that is 5d20 in your pool now.
Correct.
Go for it. Protection is down to 10. Make your roll. So what is your wit score, Lumièra? A 12? We're looking for 12 and lower.
Yes, my wit score is a 12. Okay, so on the first round, that's a 5, an 8, and an 11, and 19. So that one doesn't count. I need to roll
So we need
2
one more. Okay.
That is a 16. That doesn't cut it. And that, my dear, is a 5. So.
Okay, yeah. You do it. Yeah, the Oracle notices the debris field and lets out a,
Oh, okay, I'm gonna engage both of the Erosion 350 MEV Zeta autocannons.
and you hear like a shaking the hull above you, and then you see like ballistics shoot out and like blast a bunch of debris in front of you like to pieces. And like the space rocks just ping mostly harmlessly off of the shields, but some of them kind of rock the ship a little. And tell me what it looks like as you reverse the trajectory of this debris field out of the way, clearing a path.
I think Lumièra is sight set, laser focused. Anything other than that right now. So she's directly targeted in this debris field, and she just yells out loudly, "Things are gonna get a bit rocky." And immediately you see her like almost double time as her right and left hand are trapping the pieces of debris,
like specific
liminal,
pieces,
specific
and like
pieces, and
flinging them back in time
out the way, off over to the side, and grabbing another one. And as soon as she lets one go, she grabs another one and grabs another one and flings. And it's surgical, it's precise, it is protection, it is conducting almost a song, an orchestra, a symphony, as she is 100% locked and keyed in, making a somewhat smoother path for their landing.
Perfect. I love it. Like, you're completely focused and locked in as we see these pieces of debris as you're moving them, almost as though you're touching objects in a holographic display, clearing that path. The ship starts to veer slightly off course as the Oracle goes,
Ugh, I'm splitting focus. Ugh.
and Yinko just goes, I'll take over. And that's how they help you. They run to one of the consoles and they take over, like, manning the auto turrets, the autocannon turrets, and they manually help shoot pieces of debris out of the way. We pan down to the engine room. Xainan, you feel the Kestrel rock slightly. You don't know what the fuck is happening, but there's no catastrophic damage yet. You have found yourself in the engine room. It is a kind of oblong room, quite narrow. There's barely just enough room for yourself and the fusion reactor core itself. It is a long metal cylinder that's mounted parallel to the floor, kind of rising up out of the floor and sticking out of one of the walls like a steel coffin. It's maybe the width of like 2 grown adults and the length of 3 people, kind of stacked head to foot. And as soon as you enter the reactor room, you're hit with a blast of heat. Like the door slides open and it's like hot, 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 like opening a fully preheated oven. And you can see like the air in front of you wavering and wavering. This thing, you can like see it. Its meltdown seems imminent, like it doesn't look good. And you notice a pipe, presumably with coolant that feeds into the core, but it's being so taxed that one of the seams of the pipe has burst a little and there's steam hissing out of it. It is bleeding and hemorrhaging coolant.
After Xainan blocks the heat with his hat, it stops working after a moment. He steps into an oven. He puts it on his head and immediately looks to that blown pipe. And before he can even think through the whole thing, he thinks, I need to close that. I need to close that. He goes through how Seir would do it with strength, with the force of his just raw ability. He thinks about how Yinghe could trap it in shadow. And then he thinks about Lumièra and how Lumièra would tackle this. And as he thinks that, he points 2 fingers and begins to pull on that raw creation that lives inside of his head, struck there by a god. And he uses all of his will to encase that pipe in it, to keep that coolant in.
Okay, I love it. I'm going to say that when you use your power, you're using a skill that is most innate to you. For you, it's survival. So Xainan, as you stand on the threshold, and you, in a way that you're not used to, because you're not a magic person, really. You're just a man. That's how you've always seen yourself. So you're reaching into a part of yourself that you don't use very often. You fling your hand forward, you try to encase the seam. That is going to be a survival check, and I need 4 successes.
Yeah, that sounds right. So,
I don't think you have a situational advantage. You're not getting assistance from someone else. You are harnessing a power. Would you like to burn resources? Because that's only 2d20 in the pool.
Yeah, I think as he's in there, this place is brimming with energy. Mm-hmm. And so he is going to reach out and clumsily, again, this is not his strong suit, you're right, but he has to succeed at this for his family in all facets of what that means. So he digs deep and looks around and is going to try and draw on the energy of this room. Not only the heat that is here, but the actual power to try and like suture this back together.
I love it. Would you like to spend, how many d20s would you like to spend? And or would you like to spend 3 energy to get an auto success?
Ooh.
We have 12 energy.
I think that we need 4 successes. Mm-hmm. I don't know that I'm gonna roll that. I'm gonna take what do we think? 2 or 3? I think it's gonna be 3. I think it might
Okay,
have
so you want
to
the
be
auto
the
success.
3. Yeah.
Okay. We bumped the energy down from 12 to a 9. Not great, but still going. What does it look like as you're siphoning energy, not just from the heat in this room, but from the reactor core to seal that crack?
The myriad of memory that is Xainan Esch, pulling on what he thinks of what Lumièra would do, also echoes into a job. Routing around power to break into a door. He thinks about his family, his old family, breaking wires to fuse the right cables. And as he does that, this metal just kind of oozes out of him and drips gold onto the floor and begins to swirl around this as he draws on the energy of this room to weld this. And we see sparks flying around the room.
I love it. We see this molten gold like drip out of you and then fly toward the seal and then wrap itself around the crack. The hissing stops. The pipe that carries the coolant kind of shudders, but then stops like vibrating in this unstable manner, and you sense some of the heat start to cool down. But you also notice that the rumble of the engine, which was really, really, really loud, as you draw energy from it, it starts to get a little quieter. The rumbling of the reactor core, and you swear you feel the Kestrel like jolt a little bit and almost slow down just slightly. But the crack is sealed. A meltdown at least is not imminent, but perhaps a lack of energy and a shutdown might be. We pan across the Kestrel to find Seir. Seir, I assume you're going from room to room just grabbing stuff, as many things as you can, or are you having a targeted approach?
I want to shift my approach slightly, because I remember acknowledging the fiction and what's happening in the fiction. Seir hears the alarm bells go off of all of the debris that hit in our direction, hears that we have cleared that, feels the rumbling from the back of the ship where the coolant is, and then feels the engine slow down and lurch. And we see Seir's antlers and tail begin to flash a light yellow as he's looking around. I would like to use my ability, Strategic Intelligence. When you investigate a threat or the possibility of one, make a grit check. For each success, you can ask the GM one and receive an honest answer. The following questions are: what's the biggest danger here? What's my best way in or out or through? And who or what is most vulnerable to me? On a failure, I get to ask one anyway, but bad things happen. So
love it. So unlike other checks, because you're using this specific ability, there's no threshold for the difficulty. We're just going to see how many successes total you get against your grit score, and that's how many questions you can ask. What is your grit score?
Okay.
A 12?
10.
A 10. Okay. So we're going to roll with questions as usual. 1d20 to start. You don't have a situational advantage. You're not getting assistance from someone else.
No,
Are
I'm
you
not.
harnessing a tool or power?
I am certainly harnessing my power, the Son of Doom. I'm tapping in to my creator's energy here, that fear, that anxiety, and going, how much time do we have left? And I think we see, as we are blowing past the debris field.
Yeah, through a
Seir
window, you
sees
can see it flying past.
I see the debris, and I think Seir also sees the floating bodies and sees a severed red wire and thinks to himself, what was their doom? Can that doom us? And if so, how much time do we have?
Perfect. Okay, as you pull on your connection to Doom itself, there's blaring alarms. So it's blaring
Dad,
red
what
through
the
these
fuck?
hallways.
Why are you... Dad, I
blaring
need you to
red
be
through the
chill.
hallways. Right, kind of because the Apani Kestrel is kind of in crisis emergency mode as it's going through this debris field, and as it pulses and you pull on Doom, the pulsing speeds up to match the jackrabbiting of your heart. The gagoosh, gagoosh, gagoosh starts to beat in rhythm to the pulsing alarms and sirens inside this hallway. And the fear that courses through you, this bitter and sour fear, is both yours and it is Doom's. This terror you've never felt from this father figure of yours. So that is 3d20. Would you like to burn any resources to add more to the pool?
I think this would be really fun. Can I burn a provision to get like a radio?
Oh,
Or something
absolutely.
to try and key in to whatever the fuck like signals or Morse code or whatever like communication that Doom might want to try and send me after realizing
it.
that Doom is in the technology.
So that's one provision. That is one radio that you grab and have on your person. We're bumping provisions down from 15 to 14. So roll 4d20. We're looking for 10 and lower.
10 and lower. That's 4d20, right? Yep.
4d20, yep.
Yeah. Right. That is unfortunate. Hate you. There was a natural 20 in there. That's unfortunate. There's an 8. The others are okay. The others are okay. There's an 8 and a 2 and a 3.
Okay, so you can ask all
There's
three
a nat 20 in
questions.
there. That's upsetting.
That
is
in
upsetting.
any other system. Literally any other system. Okay, you can ask all 3 questions
Yeah.
here. So
Yes,
which one would
I
you
will.
like to ask first? order will matter,
What is
yeah.
my best way in, out, or through?
Through the situation? Like
Yes,
in
through,
okay.
like to navigate our path to our destination.
You can sense, looking at all of the shit hitting the fan around you, and the Kestrel starting to slow down. Time is not on your side, despite having a chronologist among you. You have to do this shit fast, because the longer you stay up here, the worse it's gonna get. So your best way in, out, or through is quickly, even if it means taking on some damage. You are gonna get damaged regardless. It's best to be slightly battered and alive than trying to keep yourself safe and dead.
Shit. Okay. Right. The next question is, looking at the dead bodies outside and the debris, what is our biggest danger here? What doomed them that could doom us?
It's not the debris field. It's not a reactor core meltdown. You see like half of the body of that huge freighter cargo ship like rove past you, and you notice the way that the metal is bent, all in one direction, torn apart, not by a monster or a life form, but a force greater than... Oh, of course, it's her. The longer you stay out here, the stronger her presence is. She's pulling you toward her. This ship, this Raja Yowang ship, did not move fast enough. Got pulled into her orbit, ripped apart. That will be your doom. That will be your fate if you stay here too long. Space is not safe for you. You need to land this thing.
All right, cool. I will ask the final question.
Okay.
But instead of a who, it is what is most vulnerable to me, and I mean the ship. What here is the most vulnerable here to me in my assessment?
Vulnerable insofar as you can exploit it, like it will be most useful to you, or that is most able to be damaged by you.
The former.
The first one. I would say you remember the time you spend in the cargo hold. And you remember the sound of the liquid sloshing through the barrels. And you recall what the Oracle had said about the reactor core almost melting down. And whatever slowdown, whatever's happening in the engine room is a band-aid, but it's not a fix. And fast. You need it to be fast. You need the reactor core to be fast, to burn and burn and burn. And for that, it needs coolant. And coolant is usually liquid. Now, isn't it?
It sure fucking is. All right. Just for fun, Connie, because I'm curious, how has Doom been speaking to me through my funny little radio?
Oh, I love it. As you try to tune it to a frequency and you're realizing all of this. Let's say you're like running through the hallway as this is happening. You just get static and dead air. But then for a fragment of a second, you catch a frequency. It doesn't sound like Doom. It sounds like a distress call coming in. You hear like screaming and shouting and klaxons in the background. You hear someone saying like, "This is first officer aboard the Raja Yo. Everything's going down. Everything's going to shit. We don't know what to do. There's some sort of fucking hole blown open through the ground. We're all going down. Please, please, don't. It's pulling us. I don't know how to. I've never seen a black hole like." And it just fizzles out.
I clack it shut, and I'm running to to those tanks of coolant, and I'm going to try and wrestle it towards Xainan as quickly as I can.
As you run down and you start like just ripping barrels like onto like a pallet, right, with wheels on it, you're trying to like roll this shit down the hallway. This distress call continues to ring in your head because you know that this distress call is not active. It is a ghost. It is a dead transmission playing forever and ever and ever and ever on loop as you see the corpses of these workers floating across the window, across your viewing bay. And you book it to the engine room. But for now, we smash cut back up to the bridge, where Lumièra, you're still in the middle of clearing this debris field, and finally you get through it. You get through the last portion of this belt, essentially. And you can like take a moment to like relax your focus, just for a second. And then the Oracle speaks. And what they say is not good.
I'm glad we didn't get blasted to smithereens, but I have some pretty bad news. Whatever's happening with the engine room, I don't think we have enough juice to get to Kesseki on the right trajectory.
So find an alternate route. I mean, what exactly... How am I supposed to... Shit. I think Lumièra will start to dart back in the direction of where she saw Xainan and Seir running to let them know.
Lumièra, as you start to book it out of the bridge, the Oracle goes,
Oh, wait, I have an idea. I can probably burn what's left of the power in the reactor core to just get us onto the right course, kind of like push us in a specific direction. And I've calculated the amount of drift that we're getting based on the black hole's pull. Even if we burn everything to get into that position, we will eventually collide with Kesseki's orbit first. So we can push ourselves to a direction, fall toward Kesseki, and then we'll basically crash land. But I think I can do that. I just have to put in the calculations. But you're good with math and stuff.
Land?
Oh, I can survive it.
That's not what I'm... Okay. Quickly. Give me the stats.
Okay, so it looks like I'm gonna... Whoops. I forgot to account for the power it takes to calculate the trajectory. I started the sequence, but I fried our sensors. We're flying blind.
Come on, Lumièra, think.
Lumièra, I can navigate, or I can continue to manage life support systems. It's one of the two. But would you like to manage everyone's oxygen supply, or would you like to fly the ship?
Give me the oxygen supply.
Okie dokie.
And you notice basically a console light up next to the steering wheel, which locks as the Oracle starts to like auto-navigate it, and you can hear the Oracle talking to himself.
Okay, so if I put in this amount, pi is 3.14.
As it starts to like push the ship, you notice it go kind of slightly off course, and the engines start to rev as the Oracle starts to burn through the rest of the fuel, the rest of the reactor core energy to like go in a specific direction. You see a console light up with like life support systems flashing. See a bunch of like code reds, these like pop-up warnings come up here and there that you have to kind of manage to make sure that you're basically a human doing the job of a computer. So I'm going to need you to make a check here. It's going to be a wit check. I'm going to say the difficulty is another 4, because there are like so many systems to manage and very little margin for error.
Okay, remind me what our provisions are looking like again. Because I
Pretty
don't
good,
know
actually.
if I'm going to be
We're
able
at 14.
to make a 4. Okay.
Would you like
Yeah.
to burn 3 for an auto success?
I was just about to say, yeah, because I was like, I don't even think I would actually even be able to make that, even if I only burned 1. So I'm gonna just go ahead and make that an auto success.
Perfect. How are you using the provisions of the ship to assist you in this situation?
It takes Lumièra a second of her tapping her forehead consistently, trying to force herself to think. And then she remembers a very specific chemistry class that she took when she was like 15 or 16 years old, when she was still in school. And she remembers that this specific lesson was about all the different foods that count as fuel for our bodies, but can also be converted naturally into fuel and resources that can power other technology. So she's trying to pull that memory back and is taking those bits and pieces and comparing them to what she remembers that she's seen Ying-He fiddling with on the ship in the galley over the course of those days, and kind of doing a compare and contrast to see if we have any of those types of things that could help give this some extra boost.
Okay. Hilariously, I think if you feed provisions to the Oracle, you can help juice it enough to assist you in your task and delete those margins of error. So as you realize this, like, how does this eureka moment come out for you?
I think Lumièra's face looks like the equivalent of that light bulb that goes off over your head in cartoons whenever someone thinks of a good idea. And she's just like, of course, and sharply turns, makes a beeline for the galley, comes back with like her arms in like coat pockets, like stacked and full, and is just forcing it into the top of the Oracle. Just
These are bond berries. Oh, they're almost as good though.
exactly,
Is that
just eat
lizard?
it. Thank you. More.
Ying-He's helping.
More.
Yeah, Ying-He's also like force feeding. You're both like stuffing it down the Oracle, but it works. You burn 3 provisions, and the Oracle helps you. You also have to be on task, though. The Oracle just has enough power to now assist you. So yeah, you're able to help the Oracle calculate the correct amount of thrust, keep the Apani Kestrel on trajectory before all the reactor runs out. Speaking of which, we pan down to the engine room. Xainan, you've just finished sealing that crack when you hear footsteps coming down the corridor and like something on a wheel. Something heavy on a wheel trundling down this hallway.
Is that good or bad?
Bad! Very bad!
What do you got?
Getting to a halt, and you hear the wheels squeaking, as well as the ominous, like, ticking noises from a turned on radio. You see that Seir like loops down, like pulls up this canister up by the shoulder and tries to like bring it down towards you in the engine room and says, "We don't have enough juice, Zai.
Shit.
We
And
need
he looks
to get
at
out
that
of here
wire.
fast.
All right. What's that?
Coolant.
All
At
right.
least I hope it's coolant."
Then Xainan is going to go and try and pop open that canister with Seir and
Okay,
try and cool down the engine.
Hope
Yeah.
it's coolant.
Perfect. Yeah, Xainan. So how do you force open the lid of the first barrel?
He's opened so many barrels in his life. He is the son of Xainan Esch. He knows how to open a barrel. And he goes at it with, I think he just finds a bar, like a tool nearby, and just starts prying it open.
No check needed. You absolutely succeed in this. You pry it and then you tip the lid open, perhaps expecting something radioactive, expecting something fucked up, maybe blood or whatever the fuck. You don't know what you're expecting. Both of you look over the edge, you look in, and you see perfectly cool, clear, crystal, pure water.
Xainan's constantly chapped lips seal for a moment as he looks at this and tries to decide if dumping what is worth more than gold is worth this descent. That is so much fresh water. But we need it.
Yeah, we fucking
Hope
do.
we don't regret it.
Okay, so you all can very easily figure out kind of like a place where you can dump like a manual emergency like coolant hatch that you can pull open. The handle's really fucking hot though, but the two of you can work together to tip the barrel in, kind of like coal shovelers on steamships, but you're kind of like tipping the water in and you're feeding the engine water to make it like run faster and hotter, at the risk of like kind of like burning itself out. But Seir, it's better to risk this than to not take a gamble here. Which one of you goes for it and grabs the handle and rips it open?
I think it's got to be Xainan because he can't handle the barrel.
I can handle the barrel.
Okay, so I'm gonna need grit checks from both of you to get through this. So this is not a super high difficulty. It's just about if you can physically open this thing and tip the barrel in without wasting too much time or too much water. It's gonna be 2 successes required from Xainan and 3 from Seir.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, no situational advantage. Sure, you are assisting each other, so I'll give you that. Are either of you harnessing a relevant tool or power?
I think Xainan digs. He's digging as deep as he can. This is everything on the line for him, and he's going to try and decouple his thoughts from his body. He's literally going to try and think like a ghost to grab this thing, and if it burns his hand, so be it. But if he had his way, he would do what Naeem did to him in the streets of Inferno and step out of his own body to grab this thing.
Perfect. So that's 3d20 for you as you try to tap into your ghostly form, mind over matter, literally, and grab onto the red hot burning steel of this handle and wrench it open. Okay, Seir, are you harnessing a tool or power?
Oh, hell yeah. You see Seir, like, before lifting up the barrel, clips the radio onto the leather strap on his shoulder and, like, turns the radio to speaker, and he says, "Come on, old man, give me something, a timer, please." And this is the first time, Xainan, that you've heard Seir refer to an old man not in your direction, but to whatever the hell is coming from that radio. And with that is 3d20. Help me,
Yes,
God.
okay, why don't both of you roll? Yeah, both of you roll.
I have wretched news. So you know how we were talking about 1 natural 20? Well, that would be so nice. Guess what? I rolled 2 and a 17.
So you've completely failed.
I'm having war flashbacks to the playtest. Oh.
Yeah, this system wants to be dead.
Yeah, okay. I have an idea for how to adjudicate that. I need to know Seir's result first.
I got 2 3s and 1 19, so that's only 2 successes.
You needed 3, so both of you fail. Okay, I have an idea. You
But I have an idea.
You both do it, but you lose so much water in the process. It's sloppy, it's fucking messy. And Xainan, you burn your hands. As you reach for it, like you grab, and you're trying to do mind over matter, so you don't feel the pain. Adrenaline is also pumping through you. You don't feel the pain at first, but you hear your flesh sizzling, and I need you to remove 1 hit point, Xainan. Because here's another mechanic in Force of Extinction. Every single living being has 3 hit points. Doesn't matter what you are or who you are, you have 3. You hit 0, you're dead. Xainan, you lose a hit point as you sear the flesh on your palms, but you're able to wrench it open. And Seir, this open barrel, as you hoist it up, you see so much of it slosh out to the left and the right because you can hear the transmission going, but it's almost so frantic. You see snatch phrases, words, almost as though Doom isn't exactly speaking to you, but it's almost sending different radio messages at you, trying to tell you something, but all you can hear is garbled screaming and occasional snatches of words saying, "Help!" or "SOS! SOS! Mayday! Mayday!" But it's just so overstimulating.
Keep it together, come on!
a quarter of the barrel in, and both of you are blasted with like a huge gout of steam that comes up from this funnel. But you have to keep going. It's not enough. So Xainan, I don't know who fucking designed this, but you have to hold it open, because if you let go of the handle, it'll snap back in. So you have to keep holding the handle open of the funnel as Seir is like rapidly crowbarring open the next barrel, and at this point, after the second barrel, you start to feel the pain. Xainan, the adrenaline is not enough to cushion you from it. You can smell your own flesh burning.
And if the pain wasn't enough, he's watching them pour lifeblood into this machine, and it's not working.
Yeah. What this means is, however many barrels you grabbed here, Seir, you need more. So we can montage this as, like, you have to run back down to the cargo hold and bring out every single barrel. There were 24. You use all of them. You have to. You have to. That's what your failures mean. There's no other way. And you know this, Seir. You know this.
There's no other way. We either die. And I feel, and like, he feels the hand of the patron saint of mortals on his shoulder in a survival training exercise in the middle of the woods, hearing their voice tell him, you have to make hard choices to survive, to live. And if it's something that you can live through and find another way out, then that's great. But if we don't do this, we crash, or we are at the mercy of space, and that is significantly worse for Nova. I will not fucking allow it. Nova will live, and I will ensure that Nova is going to live.
There is just a violent, heat-filled, roiling crimson montage of blood burning on hands, of heat rising from your bodies. The water that splashes onto the ground of the reactor room within minutes has evaporated. It has been taken by the ship itself. You feed her. You feed her as much water as you can, Xainan. You watch this precious lifeblood, even a half a cup of it that you've seen people kill and die over on Kesseki. So much of it sloshing over the edge, sloshing into the hungry, unending, devouring maw of this reactor core, this fucking reactor core that needs it, but you have to do this. You have to do this, and you have to hold open the mouth for Seir. You have to. There is no other choice here. This is how you survive. We pan back up to the bridge. Thanks to Xainan and Seir's efforts, the Oracle has more power than expected to help make this navigation work. So halfway through navigating toward the fall-off point, the Oracle goes,
"Oh, wait, hold on. I'm suddenly getting a surge of power. I actually think I can pilot us all the way back down to the surface of the planet. Are you okay continuing to manage life support, Lumièra?"
Just do it!
Okay. All right. It's happening. We're starting to enter orbit. I need to focus on maintaining thrust. Lumièra, you have to turn off one of the support systems. Just pick one, the one that is least vital.
Gravity.
Lumièra, you flip off the artificial gravity system. And down in the engine room, Seir, on the final barrel, as you are like tipping it in, suddenly you and Xainan feel weightless. You see the water like start to float in midair instead of falling toward the trough.
Would you rather not breathe, or do you want your feet to touch the fucking ground?
And Xainan, you start to lift. You start to lift off of the ground as you're trying to muscle this maw open. Lumièra, I assume before you flip off gravity, do you strap yourself in? And you...
Lumièra has been strapped in this entire time because she's a smart cookie.
Yes,
and she
so
made
is
sure
Yinghe
was strapped in as well. Like she made sure it was like the mask on the airplane. She made sure she was strapped in, and then she checked over and made sure that Yinghe was strapped in too.
Perfect. So the two of you are fine because you're strapped in, you don't float. The Oracle remains in place. It must have some sort of propulsion system holding it. And then the Apani Kestrel starts to hurtle toward Kesseki. You see it through the massive windshields. This dusty marble of a planet getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And whatever gravitational force the black hole was exerting on you, you feel a different force start to pull at you as you're like in free fall at first, but as you fall into the orbit of the Kestrel, the gravity returns as you fall into the orbit of Kesseki, gravity returns as you enter the pull of its own gravitational pull. So, Lumièra, you feel yourself... Oh, sorry, my camera froze for a second. I was floating in zero grav. Lumièra, you feel yourself lift against the straps, and then you fall back in as like G-forces start to exert themselves as the Kestrel starts to enter orbit, enter the atmosphere. What this means for the boys is for maybe 30 seconds, Seir and Xainan, the two of you are floating. So what's the snapshot of chaos that we get from the two of you as you start to float?
Xainan's stomach is doing backflips. He is terrible at this kind of stuff. And on top of it, he is in searing agony in his hand. So he is... First, he starts by trying to reach for the thing that's been hurting him this whole time. Then he sees that everything has gone wrong. And then he's dizzy for a moment. And then he's just looking at Seir in raw panic.
Seir was, I think he was in mid-pour of the last barrel. So there's like, maybe like the last 10th of a barrel that's there. And feels his legs go up and goes, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding. And it's like starts floating. And he's like similar to how, like when you were a kid and trying to push down a floaty in water. Like underwater, he's trying to push down the barrel onto the mouth of this lid as Xainan propels away and is trying to like stuff the last 10th of a water into the open hatch, and it's just like, come on, fuck. And it's like
as you're all
swimming.
Through this chaos, as you're floating, trying to push the barrel in, as Xainan's trying his best to like keep the mouth open, gravity returns, and all of you, the two of you feel like a lurching sensation, as though the Kestrel is now falling in a way it hadn't before. The two of you smash onto the ground. You like collapse. Whatever. You hear the empty barrels in the hallway behind you rolling. Like it's a horrible noise, so fucking loud and metallic, clanging. And the last bit of water kind of splashes out and onto the two of you, like hitting your faces, your sweaty, emaciated, fucking heat-blown faces. You fall onto the ground. And the Apani Kestrel. On the outside, we see this ship hurtling through layer after layer after layer after layer after layer of torrential fucking dust storms. Violent winds howl and lash at the hull of your ship, rocking its chassis like a leaf left in a roaring typhoon. And in the face of nature's wrath, all of you are so fragile. You are so tiny. You are so breakable. You are lurching at murder miles a minute toward the surface of a planet that promises nothing but death and destruction and decay. Screaming gray and brown twisters beat at the windows of the Kestrel, and you see cracks, Lumièra, beginning to spiderweb across the viewing bay. You see a shields meter begin to count down, and a hull integrity meter also begin to count down. But you, Lumièra, you can't see anything except the dust and the wind and your cracking windshield and the razor-sharp grains of sand lashing at the hull of your ship. The sirens are blaring. The lights are flashing. The warning modules are screeching at all of you. And all you can do in your disparate parts of the ship is hold on and pray to whatever forces you still believe in. As the Kestrel hurtles through the powerful geomagnetic storms that rule the upper atmosphere of Kesseki, how do each of you brace yourselves for landing? Let's start with Lumièra inside the bridge.
I think once again, Lumièra is kind of like bracing herself in the seat while also doing like the mom arm in the car towards like Ying-ha, like kind of like across their chest as well too, as they're just trying their hardest to get ready for something like this. And I think last minute they are like, no, put your head between your legs. And like both her and Ying-ha are both like crouched, covering their heads as we prepare for impact.
You sure do. You see Ying-ha at first white knuckling it on like either side of the seat. They hear your instruction, they obey, they follow you instantly without question. As you start to bend your body, Lumièra, you hear excuse me, as the Oracle floats toward you and like a terrified cat tries to nuzzle into your grip.
I kind of try to slip it underneath my seatbelt, so it's like strapped to my chest a little bit, kind of like a baby Bjorn.
You let the Oracle in, and you can feel this droid, like, shuddering against you. Its chassis, so fragile and metallic, quaking and quivering around you as you brace for impact. And we pan down to the engine room, to Xainan and Seir. How do the two of you brace yourselves for landing?
If I may,
Yes.
Seir pulls out the rope attached to the grappling chain, holds the grappling hook in his fist. He doesn't care if it cuts him. And Xainan, before you're aware, your bulwark scrambles up to you and starts tying your waist into a secure hold and fastens you to a bar.
No,
and then
I gotta get to a window.
No. Xainan, I'll hold you, just hang on. And then he like holds onto this, and I don't care if it cuts me, but I'm securing Xainan.
And he says something illogical. A window is the worst place to be when a ship is crashing. But all he can think about is, if I'm going to die under these stars, I'm going to see Kesseki with my own eyes before I do. But instead, you still him. And he just closes his eyes and offers another Mayday call. Where are the stars? That Nova lives.
Strike Team Nova. You hold on. You brace yourselves. You wait for impact. And then it happens. For a split second, the dust storms howling outside the front window clear. You feel weightless. There's light. There's something brown. The ground, and then it all goes black. We hold on this interminable darkness for 1 minute, then 2, then 3. Slowly we fade in on the wreckage of the Apani Kestrel. One wing shattered against the ground, the other gone. Its hull is torn open, cargo spilling like intestines across dusty earth. We pan across shards of broken glass, jagged knots of twisted metal, a column of thick black smoke rising from a fire that smolders against exposed rubber. The fuselage of the Kestrel is somehow miraculously partially intact, though it's been split open vertically, its lower half sunk into the sand. A massive engine the size of a passenger car is half buried in the dust, cracked open like an egg, the razor-sharp propeller blade still whirring and moaning as it leaks bright blue plasmatic fluid onto the ground. And then we reach the ruins of what used to be the Kestrel's bridge. We see a shattered holographic display, half alive, still glitching, with a looping warning message. We see exposed wires by the engine room, burning cartridges of who knows what, the scent of sulfur, hydraulic fluid, engine oil, thick and acidic in the air. And it is from this wreckage that you, Xainan Esch, emerge. How do you crawl out of this smoldering tomb and take your first step back onto a planet you haven't seen in 10 years?
The air is full of wreckage. But he can smell that ever-present dust. It is terrible. But it is also home. He crawls out from among barrels. He finds that window shattered. Whole foot of it broken apart. And dust pouring in. Xainan Esch looks at this window to his world. And a heavy boot falls on a wrecked metal floor. He stands up. Every part of him hurts. His hand hurts. His head hurts. His gut hurts. Everything hurts. But that's never stopped him before. He will survive. And he steps through the face of a vampire, of a ghost, of a wild sailor, of an agent, pushing through to his Mayday mission. But it isn't just the agent arriving here with his strike team that he's looking for. But he can't look away from this doorway home. He pushes towards the edge and looks down. He can see the dirt. Familiar, painful. But the only way to find Azali's raid is to step in the dirt that he buried his daughter in. The dirt and the dust that killed her. In order to have hope, he must face this fear. And the survivor, now equipped with the tool that would have saved his daughter, passes through the threshold, one boot touching the ground again, and he feels it resonating deep inside of him in a way he would have only understood from passing through the River Gorge trial. To hold his ghosts and love them, even if he is afraid. And Xainan, the farm boy, steps onto Kesseki. Home, at last.
And we're going to end the session there. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Arc 4, Episodes 1 and 2, aka the premiere of Arc 4. I am so beyond excited to return to the world of chaos and for all of you to also set foot on Kesseki for the very first time. But first, let's do some much-deserved introductions, starting with Valiant Dorian.
Hello everyone, I'm Valiant Dorian. I use him, his pronouns. You can find me all across the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Auto Spirit Bear. Please enjoy the lovely treasure I just set you on. And tonight I had the distinct pleasure of playing your favorite son of doom, Seir, who uses he, they pronouns. I'm gonna pass it on over to our survivor dad. Hey dad, how you doing?
Oh, I am so good. Hi everyone, I'm Kai. I use he, they, and she pronouns. You can find me everywhere as Estella Vimladris, and it has been a singular honor to go home with Xainan Esch. I'm gonna pass it on over to Samm.
Hello, everyone. Once again, I am, have been, and will always be Samm Star, using she, they, and the occasional they pronouns. You can catch me all across the interweb, specifically where the butterfly flies. At Lust for Life X. This is just the premiere. What's going on, boss? Take us home.
It's me taking us home to Kesseki. So everyone, this stream marks our return to our regularly scheduled programming. So unless otherwise stated, we will be streaming every Saturday from now on at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time, right here on Twitch and YouTube Live. So thank you all so much for joining us on this extremely meaningful and important premiere stream. And I truly cannot wait to reveal even more about Kesseki as the arc hundles onward. In the meantime, the best way to support our show is by clicking on our sponsors' links in the chat. The bit.ly, just click on them. You don't even have to do, just click. Joining our Patreon and talking to your friends about Transplaner. Speaking of our Patreon, though, we recently debuted a brand new reward called Player Logs, which are weekly video journals from the cast of Chaos, where they react to the most recent stream and answer prompts that you will get to vote on, starting with our Arc 4 premiere. So if you want to hear, like, Sam's deep dives about Lumièra, and the same for Kai with Xainan and Val with Seir, highly recommend joining for that reward. We are also offering stream rewards whenever we reach a new milestone for paid members. I believe we're at 164. I didn't check yet, but I believe last we spoke, we were at 164. So if we get one more, one more and reach 165, I will release a Patreon exclusive demo track from the Chaos EP I've been working on literally all year. So if you want to be a paid patron and be paid patron number 165, now is your chance. Do it. Get us over that threshold. It's $3 a month. You can pay and get a discount. $30 a year. One-time payment. $30 a year. Super worth it. Finally, you can support our show by joining and participating in our Discord, making fan works if you are so inspired, posting about Transplaner on Blue Sky, Instagram, or Tumblr, rating our podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, buying merch from our merch store, and most importantly, telling someone else about our channel. Your friends, your family, your barista, your dog, your cat, your parakeet. So thank you so much, Transplaners. I will see you next Saturday, November 1st, the day after Halloween, at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time for the continuation of Arc 4.
Hold the phone. If you have been an ever-loving member of Bingo, just like I've been, if you have 4 or more bingos in the chat, put them in our Discord. I will pick someone at random and gift them our 165 Patreon subscriber
Let's
membership.
fucking go.
Okay, Sam.
Let's do it.
Okay.
4 more bingos. You got 4 more bingos. Put them in the chat. Put them in our chat. Put them in our Discord.
You heard it.
We
That's
will find
excellent.
someone at random. We're gonna get, because I want to hear the rest of the Chaos EP. Like this is me being selfish for me by giving back.
Oh my god, that's excellent. Yes! Okay, you all heard it. So if you hit 4 or more bingos, put that proof in the pudding in the Discord server. And you heard it from Sam Star, our illustrious Sam Star. That's so generous. Thank you, Sam. That's so exciting. But yes, I will see you all next week, Saturday, November 1st, the first day of November, 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, right here on Twitch or YouTube Live. We love you so much. In the meantime, shbijo. Hello, Transplay Nerds! It's your favorite part of every Chaos Protocol stream. Sponsor Connie time. For Arc 4, we are thrilled to partner with the Working Families Party, a progressive third party in the United States building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live for everyone. The Working Families Party is fighting for universal healthcare, taxing the rich, and higher wages. If you're in the US and you want to make a difference in your community, I highly recommend checking out the Working Families Party and getting involved with your local chapter. In fact, let's take an action together right now to sign a petition by the Working Families Party to break up big media companies. This petition means a lot to us as indie actual play performers telling authentic stories, fighting censorship, and resisting authoritarianism. Go to bit.ly/WFPtrans and add your name to the list. By signing this petition, you will join the Working Families Party's mailing list and receive opportunities to help them organize, educate, and fundraise. Let's build a better future together. Howdy, Transplay Nerds! It is, once again, Sponsor Connie time. Arc 4 is proudly sponsored by Hero Forge, a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. But you already knew that, didn't you? Because the spectacular Hero Forge has sponsored us every single arc so far. We've stuck together through all sorts of exciting updates, like Hero Forge Pro, statuettes, color-printed plastic, premium plastic, but now, it's time. It's time for one of the most exciting Hero Forge updates ever. Custom dice. Hero Forge is now offering 3D printed custom dice, where you can put literally anything into the clear material of the die. Each die is printed in the same layers as the item or character bust inside of it, resulting in a solid, perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. You decide the size, color, and shape of your die, the size and color of the numbers on top, and, of course, what the die contains.
Put a frog in it.
Don't die-lay. Visit bit.ly/transforge to design your very own custom miniature or custom dice today.